What's going on, everyone? So today I want to talk about Lilo and Stitch. So I just recently watched it, and obviously it being a Disney remake, they changed a lot, and I feel like it really ruined it. There are a lot of things that I felt like they did wrong, and they shouldn't have changed because for everyone who watched this movie back when it came out, it meant a lot. It was a really good movie. It was a really good movie that you wanted to show your kids, your family members, and I feel like they took that away from us. And they changed the ending to where if they ever try to remake the second one, how it is, they wouldn't. They would have to change a lot in the second one to make it work. But we'll talk more about that in a second. A huge spoiler warning, obviously. If you want to go watch it yourself and see how bad it is, I personally wouldn't recommend it. I think it's just that bad. I'm going to lock it in at a 2 out of 10 of how much I didn't like it. So, to each your own if you want to go waste your money like that. But anyway, let's get into the review. So before we get into the new one, the original Lilo and Stitch that it's obviously based off of came out in 2002, the year that I was born. So to me, it has a significant place in my heart. And I love the movie. I rewatched it before we watched this one just so, I have every detail fresh in my head. And it disappointed me a lot, the new one, based on all the stuff that was different for this one. So first, let's talk about the things that they did right in this movie, which is very little, so I'll be really quick. So the first thing I kind of liked was Stitch. Same voice actor, pretty much acted the same throughout the movie. CGI was pretty good on him, okay? So I had no issue with Stitch in this. And I feel like the relationship that Stitch had with Lilo in the movie reminisced a lot with how the old one was. So I felt like they at least stayed close to the original. I kind of also liked how they did the end a little differently. Now, not all of the end, just this one part. Instead of the whole, chase in the big ship that they did at the end. They did a little bit of that, but it ended with them falling in the ocean, and you see Stitch sacrifice himself and pretty much sink to the bottom to let Lilo go up, showing his changing character and how much he cares for her. I thought that was really well done. That actually made me a little happy that was included. I felt like that was a way more emotional scene. But everything after that and before that kind of sucked. That's it for the good stuff. Let's get to the bad stuff because that's a lot. So, the biggest thing that they changed is obviously they got rid of Ganthu. Now, due to the fact that he is gone now, it kind of messes up the whole timeline for the future shows and movies coming out, because they have to, instead of having him as the main antagonist at the end, they have to lean heavily on Jumba. So that means that he doesn't have his turnaround. He doesn't get redeemed at the end, where he won't become like this cool guy that's still mad scientist, but at least he's part of the family for Lilo. So he just goes to jail at the end, and we don't see him again. Which, if you've seen the other movies and the show, they're not gonna happen with this timeline. Which kind of sucks, because at the end of the day, the second movie wasn't the best, but it was a good movie. It made me sad with how it went and the emotion that it made you feel. And it sucks that we won't be able to get that. And the show wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't rated the best, and there was a lot of meh, but it was pretty good. But we won't get that. But at the end of the day, we have to look back and think this movie was not made for us. Us and our, we're already adults. We're old. Obviously, this stuff has a lot of things that are more for the generation that's kids now are barely teenagers. They talked about TikTok. Instead of riding a bike, they were riding these mini cars. There's a lot of references to things that weren't referenced in the first one because it's not our time. This is a movie for kids, and for kids, I'm sure it was really good. I mean, you look at the ratings that are out now. It's rated really well for kids. So when we take off this lens that we all have of bias because we remember the good old days, yes, I didn't like it because I watched the original and I'm very biased. But when we take off that lens, we have to look at it and see that it's not for us. So show your kids, but don't expect that you will feel the same thing they do. Anyway, that's my whole bit about it. That's what I think. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.